Okay, we're going to have here a look around a vehicle that we sold at the beginning of December 2011 to Mr. Stuart Sinclair, registration number Golf 89 Yankee November Charlie, a Land Rover 110 turbo diesel county station wagon that at the time we sold it, I think from memory had done 166,000 miles. Mr. Sinclair has dumped it back on us on the 23rd of June, saying that he wants his money back because the engine is smoking and the fuel tank is leaking. 7 months after he bought it almost, and having covered a mileage of 169,640, so around about 3,000 miles. And he's saying that the vehicle has never been fit for purpose and of merchantable quality. Quite how he's managed to do 3,000 miles on a vehicle like that, God only knows. We know the vehicle did have a problem at the end of January where the engine started smoking badly, and we offered Mr. Sinclair a replacement engine for it. I will say when he bought it, he first looked at a 200 TDI that was a bit more expensive than this one, and then this one, decided to go for this as he felt it was structurally better, although he was warned at the time that these turbo diesel engines are not the strongest and don't have a particularly long lifespan. And when he approached us at the end of January, I said, not a problem, we will supply you with a 300 TDI engine, because the car was going into his approved mechanic, company called Cross Axle Motors. We said we'd do that. He then asked us to speak to Cross Axle Motors. We did. The chap at Cross Axle said he didn't think it was a serious problem with the engine and that it could be rectified. So basically we let him get on with it. And subsequent to that, he now says that the engine is horribly smoky. Well, frankly, 2.5 TD motors are smoky and do breathe a lot, but I want to see if there's anything specifically wrong with this one. First of all, we'll have a look at the diesel tank, because I can't smell diesel, and let's say it's been sitting with us now for 3 weeks. Let's have a look. Oh, under the back. Oh, ready prepared, Matt. Well, it looks to possibly have a very slight weep around the drain plug, but the rest of the tank, what's this up here? Oh, that's just dirt. And so it doesn't smell particularly diesely at all. Obviously I can't show you the smell on the video, but I think it is just the drain plug that's drain plug washer that's leaking slightly, which is obviously nothing too difficult to sort out. In fairness, we did offer, when Mr. Sinclair first approached us about it, I think at the beginning of May, saying the diesel tank was leaking, and I said, well, it's fine, we will pay for a new diesel tank for you, we'll pay to supply it, you can have it fitted. But he turned that down and said that he wanted his money back. Anyway, looking underneath, as I say, the tank itself seems to be fine. There's nothing dripping down the outsides of it, although you can't see the front bit because of the guard on it. But there is a tiniest weep of, I'm sure that's diesel actually, if it's oil. Or been thrown up by the diff. Doesn't really smell of diesel. Anyway, he insists it's got a diesel leak, although there's nothing dripping, there's nothing dropping, nothing anything. Anyway, let's move on to the engine. We need to go through that one. Now, it would appear that these Cross Axle Motors people, according to the bill that he left me for the car, replaced the head gasket on it. Now, if they replaced the head gasket, I'm intrigued to know why. I've just done 20 yards in it, moved it from our outside storage round to here. Intrigued to know why. When I undo the cap here, there is massive pressure in here. Just done it a minute ago and it's spurted water everywhere. It's better now. But it was really pressurised a minute ago, which shouldn't be the case on one where I've just done 20 feet in it. But we'll try it again a bit later on when we've taken it for a run. Looking at the top of that engine, it looks as if the rocker cover gasket is either the original one or it's a new one that's been badly fitted, which is making a fair bit of oil drip out of it, especially towards cylinder number 4, towards the back of the engine. Just looks like poor workmanship. If it generally has had a new head gasket in it, then you replace the rest of the gaskets and you fit them properly. It just doesn't seem to have been done along the back there. The engine itself actually looks quite clean, nice and oil tight, apart from, as I say, the top of the engine. Yeah, it's just oily. I think oil is coming out through the rocker cover gasket. Anyway, we'll fire it up. Just check we have actually got some proper oil in it first of all. Given the state of the rest of the car, I'd be surprised if it did. Yeah, oil level's okay. But the mess the rest of it's in, it's hardly been looked after by the look of it. In the 7 months that he's had it. Right, we'll fire it up with the engine, with the bonnet open, so we can do a breather check on it and stuff like that. It does actually start quite nicely. Well, always did, in fairness, and sometimes on these turbo diesels, when the engines are really warm, they can be a real bugger to start. Bit of heat. Okay. Starts nice, as you can hear. And it is breathing smoke from somewhere. I think it's one of these pipes. Although that's water. That's not. That's a water pipe there for the heater. Let's take the breather off. Yeah, it is puffing badly, but you know that's what a 2.5 TD does. They're renowned for it. But the fact that it starts nicely means that the compressions are good in it and stuff like that. But it is, so quite oily around the top end of the engine. But I think a lot of that is actually coming out of the top of the rocker cover gasket. I think it's got block breathers. Anyway, we'll take it for a run and then see what we make of it. Just have a quick look underneath it, make sure there's no oil pouring out the bottom. No, there's none at all. Okay. Oh, one other point, apparently he's been told the clutch needs a rebuild. Now, strictly speaking, a clutch isn't part of any merchantable quality claims because they can be abused by customers. But I don't think there's anything wrong with this one. There's two ways a clutch can fail. Number one, it can drag, and I've got my foot on the clutch now. I'm putting it into first gear. If the clutch was dragging, the car would be moving forward, and as you can see, it isn't. The revs haven't dropped. The car isn't moving forward at all. It's going into all its gears properly without any problem whatsoever. The second point with the clutch is that they can slip. Now, if there's a way to test that, if I put it into third gear and put the handbrake on, as long as the handbrake's working properly, when I let my foot off the throttle, off the clutch, it should stall exactly as it's done. That shows the clutch isn't slipping and starts again nicely again. Right, let's take it out and give it a whiz up the road and see what we can make of this engine. Phone ring. The people behind me aren't getting swamped in smoke. It's always a good thing. It's a bit smoky under hard acceleration, but again, a 2.5 TD does that, as anyone that has got anything to do whatsoever with Land Rovers will tell you. And Mr. Sinclair was certainly told this when he bought the vehicle 7 months ago. The clutch has got quite a low biting point, but possibly it's got a fairly new clutch in it. certainly not high up. A little bit of blue smoke out the back on hard acceleration. Looking in the mirror, but no more than you expect on one of these. Tell you what, actually drives really nicely. By Defender standards. The gear change is nice and smooth. No synchro problems or anything. In fact, the smoky on acceleration, now it's warmed up, getting warmer, has disappeared completely. Yeah, considering it's done almost 170,000 miles, this engine still feels in really quite rude health. It's not stalling on when the power's dropped off. Overheating. Right, here we are. Now let's have a park it somewhere dry so we can have a look underneath it. Open the bonnet. Let's see what we can find. The driver's door open. There we are. Yeah, I mean it is burning oil off the top of the engine. I can't quite see where it's generating it from. But say there's a lot of oil around the rocker cover gasket. I can only assume it's coming from that, or from the join hit from the bolt hole there. It perhaps needs a new washer in it or something, or a new grommet. But you know, it is a 2.5 TD engine that has had the top taken off by somebody else. I can't quite see. Yeah, there we are. Yeah, it's got oil coming out of the top of that. I'm sure Mr. Sinclair won't mind if I whip the top of that off actually and have a look and see if there's anything we can do with that. Anyway, that's about it. End.